I don't know why, but I feel like I've met him before. Hey guys, welcome back to Super Important Reviews. My name's Steve, and today we'll be going over the Transformers Age of Extinction Generations line Voyager Hound. This is from the new Transformers movie, and I gotta personally thank Travis for letting me borrow this figure because this has actually been my white whale of an action figure right now, and I just haven't been able to find this anywhere I've gone to. And he was able to find one. He's been gracious enough to actually let me play with this because after seeing a bunch of other people's reviews, I've been really wanting to do one myself because, like, have you seen all these guys' guns? He looks freaking awesome, but we'll get to that in a little bit. And personally for me, with the new Transformer movie, he was actually probably my favorite character out of it, just aside of Optimus Prime, just because he actually seemed like they spent a little bit more time trying to get in with his character. Like, I really understood where he was getting at, because he's pretty much our Ironhide replacement. And compared to, like, the Dinobots and Galvatron and, like, Drift and Crosshairs, like, none of those other guys really clicked for me that well, especially the Dinobots, which, like, isn't a conversation for another day. But overall, with that movie, I was personally a little bit disappointed, but one of the good things that really came out of it was his character, and I think John Goodman did a fantastic job voicing this guy. But since we don't have him currently in the packaging, as you can see, because he already disposed of it, but he still had the instructions, but we don't really need these right now. So, since he's already out of the package, let's get into him. Okay, so first we're going to get into Hound's accessories, which this guy has... It's just insane how much this guy actually comes with, and just in terms of accessories, this guy is really impressive to me, which, for starters, he comes with this combat knife right here on his chest, which overall actually has a decent amount of detailing on it. There's nothing too much special because it's just pretty much a combat knife that you could have holding his hand, but this is just number one. And then for number 2 and 3, he comes with these 5-barreled shotguns, which what you do is if you want to take it out of storage, you flip this part up, and then here's the handles for them, which these actually look really nice. And I was actually very impressed with these when I just originally was holding them, just because they got like even a little detailing down here and up here with the little sights up here. Like, overall, this is actually just really cool, and it's nice that you get a pair of them, so you can have them dual-wielding shotguns, kind of like, just like old Halo style, where you just run around, like, it's really awesome. And then, next, he comes with, oh, now he's falling. We have these rifle on the back, he gets a little back heavy. But he also has these 2 larger pistols, which overall look really nice. I kind of wish they would have enclosed this part a little bit, because we'll get into it in a second, but it looks a little goofy when you're combining these things, which also you can combine, but again, I digress. But they look really nice, and overall the detailing on these, which same with everything else on here, just looks really awesome. And then he also comes with 2 smaller pistols, which go into his legs down here. Pop these guys out. Make sure you're not tipping, buddy. Stop it. Thank you. Which again, just the amount of detail on these is fantastic. Because even going all the way around, like, this one's just fully done. And again, just really can't stress just how happy I am with these things. Then, for the last bit, you get his giant triple-barrel Gatling gun. Which, again, this looks awesome. Like, even it's got all the detailing with the barrels here. And the breathe holes. Like, this thing just looks gnarly. And then if you don't prefer it in this setting, you can also pop this part out. And then get it a little further out. Bring it over. And then you can have it more just stacked on top of each other. Which this is the way you have to put it on the truck mode. And then you also, if you want it more like a giant handgun, tuck that in. Bam! Triple barrel handgun. But one of the neatest little features, which I actually didn't really know about this personally, was you could take all these guns, start tucking these in. You could take the 5-barrel shotguns and stick them on the side here. So you already got way more firepower now than you originally started with. Now, you can take the little pistols, stick them into the middle barrel. Put one on this side. Again, more firepower, except for one thing I noticed is they pop out really easy. But, alright, so we got this done. Now on the bottom, set that down for a second. You take the little pistols and you peg them into each other, which this is a part where it kind of looks a little funny because this part's open, that part's open. It just would have been nice if it was a little more closed looking. But I kind of get it because you have to have it sticking on there, but I could have seen them just having this rounded and then the peg sticking out a little farther. Like, I would have been fine with that. But anyways, you stick them into the pegs here because there's the peg holes right there. Pop that in there. And last but not least, you take the little knife and it makes it into a bayonet. Look how massive this thing is. Like, it's just crazy how huge this is, which I actually really like the idea of this for Hound just because he's your military expert, so he's going to be used to working with random weaponry and trying to combine them to make new stuff. And this overall just helps with his character. I'm trying to use fancy words and failing here. And then you can just stick in his hand right here. And just look how huge this thing is on him. Like, it's just overall, like, usually these little things are kind of goofy with me, or they just don't look like they fit very well. But this actually looks really well and really suits him. And another thing I really like, which is kind of like a little side note here, is popping this out a little bit to turn it sideways. You can actually have him hold it with both hands, because there's the extra little handles down here from the heavy pistols. And not showing it off very well here. Get back into peg holes there, buddy. There we go. But you can hold it with two hands too, and just, it's something that usually, it's not really that big of a deal, but I just enjoy it, at least on my display stands where they tend to be holding their guns with both hands, because it just looks a little bit more like it's just getting ready to march into battle. So with this accessories here, it's just, I am overall just very amazed with this, and especially at how long this video is already getting just for me talking about just his weaponry. So after getting his accessories out of the way, starting with this head sculpt, I think it actually turned out pretty nice. I love the beard here, and it's actually made out of this rubber material. So when you start rotating it, you can see it's bending here a little bit, which I think it's a pretty nice touch, because if that was a hard plastic, I could see this not having as much movement as it would, which is pretty nice. And then he's got a decent amount of detailing here on his face, which it kind of, to me, it looks like he has like a little bit indents where it just kind of gives him more of an older look. The only real thing about the head sculpt that throws me off a little bit is up front here, it seems like it's made out of this softer material. Like it has a little bit of play with it. While on the back, it's just normal plastic, so the color is a little bit off-putting to me, because you can tell clearly that there's a difference between there. So I wish they could have matched that up a little better. But with the amount of detail on the rest of this body, like, it looks fantastic. Like, I really like the smokestack sticking out over here. I think that's pretty neat. And he's got his little Autobot symbol here on his tummy. Or, I guess his belly button would be a little bit farther, be like right there. And then he's got his ammunition clip on his arm, which that's actually a pretty cool touch as well. Just really helps to show that he is the weapon expert. And then one weird thing on this guy, and I'm assuming it's just so they can maybe do something else if they wanted to reuse his body with another figure, is it's actually rubber right here. And then you can see right here, it's just a little tube connecting the arms. So that's a little weird. It's kind of like, to me, it's like a really long ammo belt just coming along, attaching to his hand here. So that's different, and personally I really like that. I think that's neat. The only thing I really don't like about this figure is this hand right here, where it's literally just, this is just covering up his hand. I just, like, that just looks really ugly to me. Like, it's just like he's got some boxing gloves on, he's ready to put up his dukes, you know? Like, I wish there was some way to hide that a little better. So that's a little bit off-putting to me. And coming down to his legs, they actually look really nice too as well. And he's got his little feet down here, which is just more of the tires. And another thing to point out about this figure is he's a very nice compact figure. Like, he doesn't have this like a gaping backpack coming off this side or a lot of like holes or gaping plastic on him. Like, overall, he's fairly enclosed, which is really impressive to me. Like, there's not much really showing here. Like, I guess right here you could complain a little bit about, and same with back here, but overall, I think they tried very well to have this guy just look very enclosed. And he's just a nice, personally, just a really nice, clean-looking figure. And in terms of detail, if it wasn't for the little hands, I would... this guy would pretty much probably be a solid 10 for me. And so far, at least in details, he's probably my favorite AoE figure. Getting into his articulation a little bit, his head can look left and right. His shoulders are on peg joints, so they can move up and down, all the way around. Then he has a rotation here at the bicep, bend at the elbow. It's kind of like a weird little double joint here. He has a little bit of a rotation here at the elbow, but with the rubber plastic here, it just sets it right back. And then nothing really here at the hands. At the waist, he can look left and right. And also, you can consider that he has a tummy crunch, but it's just part of the transformation. But if you really wanted to have him looking down at somebody, you could. It's just options. And then he has a peg joint here at the leg, so it can move in and out. Forward, and then this far back. He has a rotation at the thigh, bend at the knee, and a foot pivot. So overall articulation, I'm actually very impressed with this figure as well. I just think he turned out awesome in that regards. And for some quick comparison, here's Hound compared next to one of my other favorite Transformers from this line, the Evasion Mode Optimus Prime. And here's Hound compared next to AoE Grimlock. And here's Hound compared next to Imperial Godzilla because they were both in Roseanne. And here's Hound with a Mouser. And here's Hound in alt mode, which I gotta say, this truck looks fantastic. Because for starters, with the amount of detail on this, it's just really splendid. Like, I love the headlights sitting up on the front here with the windshield wipers. And it's even got the manufacturer's emblem here, which is Oshkosh. If I'm not saying that correctly, please don't hate me. This is something I'm used to by now. And then, really love, like, they got like the little tow bar down here. Or the tow cables, whatever you want to call them. And he's got the smokestacks on this side with the spare tire sitting here. And another neat thing is it has this breathing port right here, which is what I'm imagining it is anyways. I'm not 100% positive, but it resembles the stuff that I see on the Jeeps and stuff, where if this Jeep gets a little bit under the water, it won't flood the engine, and this just helps get the air to the engine. And it's really sweet. And just overall, like, there's not really too much I can complain about on this. The only real thing I notice is when I was putting on the weapons, which I'll get into in a minute, is this part seemed like it popped out really easy. And you really had to smush it in there to get it in there. Which I don't want to mess with this too much because I got to give this back to Travis. And I don't want him to be like, what are you doing? Because I can imagine he's going to watch this video. And then I kind of wish they could have hid the leg here a little better, but it's not really that big of an eyesore to me. And especially with like a lot of the vehicle forms that I'm used to, like usually like one form will look really good and the other form will look okay to and with this guy, it's just really great that with the robot form looking as amazing as it does, and this vehicle form is just equally nice. Like, I really wouldn't know how I'd actually would put him on my shelf. Well, okay, that's a lie. I'd probably still have him in robot form, but this is still a very nice option nonetheless. And then getting his accessories on here, which you take for the chain gun, there's little peg holes here and here, which you're going to want to stick into these two right here. So you just slide these into the spots, just push it in. The back part seems to want to pop out a little bit, and that's a little aggravating. Then you take this and stick it into here. And for the other side, which I thought that popped out. But with the 5-barrel shotguns, there's these little pegs right here. And the same with the little holes right here. There's one on the other side. Just stick that in. Same with the extra one. Pop that in as well, which, one thing, just be a little bit careful. It's not like you're going to break anything, but it's just, they don't really stay in that securely. And then the back of my truck's starting to pop out. So just when you're popping off, like sometimes these random bits just started popping off. So that's a little bit frustrating, but it's still not bad. And then you just stick that pistol down there. And then his other two are just kind of chilling on here for weapon storage because there wasn't really any good place to really sit it on the vehicle. And then you could take the knife, and there's a few options where you can stick it like on the barrels of the gun or right on the front of the truck here. Which, to me, that looks a little bit silly, but for the rest of this, like, I actually really love the weapon storage on this guy. It actually looks very fitting, and usually on these, it tends to look very odd, like, especially where they give you the option to stick it on top of the truck, but I personally don't really like sticking them on top of the truck, so I'm really glad that they just kind of sit on the side here, and especially with him looking more like a transport kind of truck, it really is just nice that he's just transporting the weapons of the battle, and it's just very fitting for this guy's character. And here's a quick comparison. Here's Hound in alt mode compared next to Invasion mode Optimus Prime in alt mode, which, good weapon storage, not so good weapon storage. And here he is compared next to AoE Grimlock, which again, good weapon storage, bad weapon storage. Starting to see a trend. And here's Hound with the mouse here. So overall with Hound here, just go buy him. Like with the amount of accessories he has, which rivals a lot of leader class figures, and with the amount of detail on him, it's just super great. And then even his articulation is just fantastic. And I just can't stress, like, if you don't even have to like the movie, if you just like good Transformers, this guy's your man. And now I'm just super jealous that I actually have to give this back to Travis after I'm done with this. So what do you guys think? Are you guys a big fan of John Goodman? Did you guys like Hound in the movie? Or are you guys just not a big fan of Roseanne? Please let us know in the comments. If you guys want to see closer pictures of them, we'll have them on Facebook if you want to click the link in the description below. And please don't be afraid to share this video around. And if you like this and want to see more stuff like this, please give us a like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.